Everyone smiles, but not everyone is loyal. A smile is one of the easiest things a person can offer. It costs nothing, requires no commitment, often asks for nothing in return. It can be given out of habit, politeness, or personal interest. Loyalty is different. Loyalty carries weight. It demands consistency, sacrifice, and courage. That is why it is rare. In life, many people will smile at you when everything is going well. They will celebrate your progress, agree with your words, and stand close when your path is smooth. But when the situation changes, when success fades, when challenges appear, those same smiles often disappear. This is not because people are cruel, but because loyalty is not built on comfort. It is built on strength. Smiles often seek acceptance. Loyalty seeks alignment. A smile may want to be seen, liked, or included. Loyalty is willing to be unseen if it means doing what is right. A person can smile while doubting you, competing with you, or waiting for advantage. Loyalty does not hide. It remains consistent whether you are present or absent. True loyalty is revealed in difficult moments. It shows itself when supporting you brings no benefit, when staying costs effort, and when silence would be easier than truth. Anyone can stand beside you when the crowd is cheering. Few remain when the noise fades and the road becomes lonely. This is why wisdom does not rush trust. It observes. It listens. It allows time to expose reality. Words and expressions can be controlled. Behavior over time cannot. Patterns never lie. They reveal intention without explanation. Not everyone who walks with you is walking for the same reason. Some walk for opportunity. Some walk for comfort. Some walk until they find a better path. Loyalty walks because it chooses to, not because it gains something. Emotional discipline is essential when dealing with this truth. Expecting loyalty from everyone leads to disappointment. Offering loyalty to everyone leads to exhaustion. Strength is knowing the difference. It is understanding that solitude is better than false support. Loyalty does not need to announce itself. It does not demand appreciation. It does not seek attention. It is quiet, steady, and dependable. It shows up in actions, not promises. It protects your name in your absence, stands firm when your value is questioned. Many people confuse friendliness with faithfulness. Friendliness changes with mood and circumstance. Faithfulness remains when circumstances are unfavorable. A smile may vanish under pressure. Loyalty is tested by pressure and proven through it. There is also responsibility in receiving loyalty. It must be respected, not exploited. Taking loyalty for granted weakens it. When trust is betrayed, loyalty does not argue, it withdraws. You do not need many people around you. Numbers create noise. Loyalty creates stability. One loyal person outweighs a room full of smiling faces. Understanding this changes how you move through life. You become less impressed by appearances and more attentive to consistency. You stop chasing approval and start valuing integrity. You choose quality over quantity. Everyone smiles, but not everyone is loyal. The smile may greet you at the door. Loyalty stays when the door closes, when no one is watching, when the outcome is uncertain, and when remaining requires strength rather than convenience. A smile is easy. It requires little effort, no commitment, and no responsibility. It can be offered without sincerity and withdrawn without consequence. A smile can be a habit, a mask, or a strategy. Loyalty, on the other hand, is earned slowly, carried heavily, and proven repeatedly. It cannot be faked for long, and it cannot survive without character. In everyday life, smiles surround us. They appear in greetings, conversations, agreements, and promises. They make interactions smoother and create a sense of comfort. Yet comfort is not truth. A smile can coexist with selfish intentions, hidden competition, or quiet betrayal. It can be present even when respect is absent. That is why confusing friendliness with loyalty often leads to disappointment. Loyalty demands something deeper than expression. It demands consistency. It asks a person to remain aligned not only when circumstances are favorable, but when they are inconvenient. Anyone can support success. Anyone can applaud progress, but loyalty reveals itself when there is nothing to gain, when association brings risk instead of reward, when silence would be safer than support. To earn loyalty, one must first understand its weight. Loyalty is not blind attachment. It is not obedience, nor is it submission. True loyalty is rooted in shared values and mutual respect. Grows when trust is honored and boundaries are protected. It weakens when words lose meaning and actions become inconsistent. Many people expect loyalty simply because they are liked. But being liked is not the same as being respected. A smile can indicate politeness or momentary agreement, but respect is built through integrity. Respect is earned when actions align with principles, when promises are kept even when they are costly, when behavior remains stable under pressure. Time plays a crucial role in revealing loyalty. In short moments, everyone appears reliable. Over longer periods, patterns emerge. How someone behaves when they are overlooked, corrected, or challenged speaks louder than how they behave when they are praised. Loyalty survives tension running through the park. It does not disappear at the first sign of discomfort. There is also a responsibility that comes with receiving loyalty. It cannot be demanded or assumed. It must be protected. Taking loyalty for granted often destroys it. When trust is exploited or neglected, loyalty turns into distance. When honesty is punished and convenience is rewarded, loyalty has no reason to stay. In relationships, whether personal or professional, loyalty often reveals itself through small actions rather than grand gestures. Being present when needed, defending truth when it is unpopular, and choosing fairness over personal advantage are quiet demonstrations of loyalty. These acts rarely draw attention, but they build something strong and lasting. Smiles often seek immediate connection. Loyalty seeks long-term alignment. A smile may aim to be accepted. Loyalty aims to stand firm. That is why not everyone who smiles deserves access to trust. Trust should be given carefully, not out of fear of loneliness, out of respect for one's own values. Self-awareness is essential in this process. When individuals lack clarity within themselves, they may seek loyalty without offering it. They may expect others to stay committed while they remain inconsistent. Loyalty cannot exist in such imbalance. It thrives where accountability exists on both sides. There is also courage involved in loyalty. Staying loyal sometimes means standing alone. It may require resisting group pressure, refusing to participate in dishonesty, or walking away from situations that compromise integrity. These choices are rarely met with applause, but they define character. In contrast, smiles often avoid conflict. They smooth over tension and maintain surface harmony. While this can be useful in social situations, it becomes dangerous when it replaces honesty. Loyalty does not fear difficult conversations. It values truth over comfort. Understanding the difference between surface behavior and deep character allows one to move through life with greater clarity. Instead of being disappointed by unmet expectations, one learns to observe before trusting, to listen before assuming, and to allow actions to speak before words are believed. Loyalty also begins within. Being loyal to one's principles, values, standards sets the foundation for recognizing loyalty in others. When a person compromises themselves for approval, they attract smiles but lose respect. When a person stands firm in who they are, they may receive fewer smiles. The loyalty they earn is genuine. Not every connection is meant to be deep. Some people are meant to pass through briefly, offering a moment of kindness or shared experience. Others are meant to stay, Recognizing this difference prevents resentment and unrealistic expectations. Smiles can be appreciated without being trusted. Loyalty can be valued without being rushed. Earning loyalty takes patience. It cannot be forced or accelerated. It grows through shared experiences, challenges, and time. It is shaped by how people treat each other when outcomes are uncertain and emotions are tested. In a world that often rewards appearance over substance, choosing loyalty over approval requires discipline. It requires resisting the temptation to surround oneself with agreeable faces and instead valuing those who are honest, consistent, and principled. A smile may open a door, but loyalty determines who remains inside when the door closes, when the room grows quiet, when expectations are no longer spoken, and when choices reveal who truly stands where. True intentions are rarely visible at first glance. They do not announce themselves loudly or demand immediate recognition. Instead, they exist beneath words, gestures, and appearances, waiting for time to remove what is unnecessary and expose what is real. In the beginning, intentions often hide behind politeness, enthusiasm, or promises. It is only through duration and repetition that their true nature becomes clear. Time has a unique ability to strip away performance. What can be maintained for a day or a week becomes difficult to sustain over months and years. People may act with patience, generosity, or honesty for short periods, especially when something is to be gained. Over time, however, effort reveals its limits. When motivation fades, behavior aligns with genuine intent. Words are easy to adjust. They can be refined, rehearsed, and delivered in ways that sound convincing. Actions, especially repeated ones, are harder to manipulate. Patterns form through consistent behavior, and patterns speak more clearly than isolated moments. A single act of kindness may impress. Repeated kindness without expectation reveals something deeper. The same is true for dishonesty, avoidance, or self-interest, which eventually surface when maintained long enough. Pressure accelerates revelation. When circumstances are calm, intentions remain hidden. During conflict, loss, or uncertainty, people respond instinctively. In those moments, what matters most to them becomes visible. Protect fairness, others protect themselves. Some remain steady, others retreat. Time combined with challenge reveals priorities that words alone never could. Relationships often begin with ideal images. Expectations are high and patience is abundant. Small inconsistencies are overlooked and doubts are silenced by hope. Over time, however, reality replaces assumption. The way someone responds to boundaries, responsibility, and accountability reveals their true position. Respect either strengthens or erodes depending on intention. There is also a difference between interest and commitment. Interest is fueled by excitement and opportunity. Commitment survives routine and difficulty. Time exposes which one is present. When novelty disappears, intention determines whether effort remains or fades. Those driven by convenience slowly withdraw. Those driven by principle remain engaged. True intentions are consistent, not dramatic. They do not fluctuate based on audience or advantage. They remain recognizable across situations. Someone who values honesty does not practice it selectively. Someone who seeks growth does not abandon effort when progress slows. Over time, these consistencies become impossible to ignore. Impatience often leads to misjudgment. Wanting clarity too quickly can cause people to trust or distrust prematurely. Time is not passive. It is an active process of observation. It allows space for contradictions to surface and for alignment to be proven. Rushing this process often results in confusion and disappointment. Self-awareness is equally exposed by time. People may believe they have certain intentions until reality challenges them. Under stress, some discover that their values were conditional. Others find strength they did not know they possessed. Time not only reveals others, reveals the self. Reactions to repeated difficulty become mirrors. In professional environments, intentions show themselves through reliability and responsibility. Titles and enthusiasm matter less than follow through. Those who intend to contribute remain consistent even when recognition is absent. Those who intend to advance at any cost eventually reveal it through shortcuts and shifting accountability. Silence also plays a role. When nothing is demanded, intentions become visible. Without pressure to perform, people act according to preference rather than expectation. How someone behaves when no one is watching often aligns closely with their true intent. Trust develops not from promises but from experience. Repeated interactions create a record. That record either builds confidence or raises caution. Over time, excuses lose power and outcomes take their place. What someone chooses again and again defines them more accurately than what they say they intend to do. There is wisdom in allowing time to work without interference. Constantly seeking explanations or reassurances interrupts the natural process of revelation. Time does not rush and it does not lie. It exposes without confrontation and teaches without argument. True intentions are not perfect. They may include mistakes and missteps. What matters is direction. Over time, correction reveals intention. A person who values integrity adjusts behavior when errors are pointed out. A person driven by ego defends them. The difference becomes clear through repeated response. Emotional maturity includes the patience to wait for clarity. It accepts uncertainty without forcing conclusions. Understands that truth is not always immediate, but it is always consistent. Allowing time to reveal intentions protects against false assumptions and emotional reactions. There is also responsibility in how one responds once intentions are clear. Recognizing them requires honesty and courage. Ignoring revealed patterns leads to repeated disappointment. Time offers information, but action must follow understanding. True intentions leave traces. They shape habits, influence decisions, and define reactions. Over time, these traces form a clear picture. No explanation can erase it, and no performance can replace it. What remains consistent is what was always there, gradually revealed through repetition, pressure, silence, and choice. Emotional discipline is the ability to experience emotions without becoming controlled by them. It is not the suppression of feeling, nor the denial of pain, anger, or joy. It is the practice of awareness, restraint, and choice. When emotions are undisciplined, they react to every external stimulus. When disciplined, they respond with intention. This difference determines whether inner peace is constantly disturbed or quietly protected. Every emotion carries energy. Left unchecked, energy seeks immediate expression. Words are spoken too quickly, decisions are made impulsively, and reactions replace reflection. Emotional discipline slows this process. It creates space between feeling and action. In that space, clarity forms. Without it, even small situations can disrupt mental balance. Inner peace is fragile when it depends on external conditions. Praise elevates it, criticism destroys it. Approval sustains it, rejection threatens it. Emotional discipline removes this dependency. It teaches the mind to remain stable regardless of circumstances. This stability does not mean indifference. It means balance. Many conflicts begin not because of the situation itself, but because of uncontrolled emotional responses. A comment is interpreted as an attack. A delay becomes a personal insult. A disagreement escalates into resentment. Emotional discipline interrupts this chain. It questions assumptions and regulates intensity. It allows understanding to replace reaction. Emotions are often rooted in past experiences. Present situations awaken old patterns. Without discipline, the past controls the present. With discipline, patterns are recognized rather than repeated. This awareness prevents emotional accumulation, where unresolved feelings compound over time and erupt unexpectedly. Inner peace requires boundaries. Emotional discipline strengthens them. Not every opinion needs to be absorbed. Not every provocation deserves engagement. Choosing what to carry and what to release is a skill developed through practice. Without it, the mind becomes crowded with unnecessary weight. There is a misconception that emotional discipline leads to coldness. In reality, it deepens compassion. When emotions are regulated, they are no longer overwhelming. This allows empathy without exhaustion and care without self-neglect. Emotional clarity creates emotional strength. Silence is one of the strongest tools of emotional discipline. It is not avoidance, but restraint. Choosing not to react immediately prevents regret. Silence allows emotions to settle and truth to surface. Many regrets are born from moments where silence was abandoned too quickly. Emotional discipline also protects dignity. Losing control often leads to behavior that contradicts values. Words spoken in anger rarely reflect true intention. Discipline ensures that actions remain aligned with principles, even under pressure. This alignment preserves self-respect and inner calm. Expectations are a common source of emotional disturbance. When reality fails to match expectation, frustration arises. Emotional discipline adjusts expectation rather than resenting reality. It recognizes what can be controlled and releases what cannot. This shift reduces inner resistance. Consistency is central to emotional discipline. It is not practiced only in moments of crisis, in daily interactions. Small choices shape emotional habits. Choosing patience over irritation, reflection over reaction, and understanding over judgment strengthens emotional stability over time. Emotional discipline does not eliminate pain. It changes how pain is carried. Instead of becoming identity, pain becomes experience. Instead of being avoided, it is processed. This prevents suffering from becoming prolonged or destructive. External chaos does not have to create internal chaos. Emotional discipline acts as a filter. Information passes through awareness before becoming belief or emotion. This prevents overload and confusion. Inner peace is maintained not by controlling the world, but by controlling response. Self-talk plays a powerful role. Undisciplined emotions often produce harsh inner dialogue. Discipline replaces accusation with observation. Instead of asking why something happened, it asks what can be learned. This shift transforms emotional experience into growth. Time strengthens emotional discipline. With experience, patterns become recognizable. Triggers lose intensity. Reactions slow naturally. What once caused disturbance becomes manageable. Inner peace becomes less fragile and more rooted. Emotional discipline also improves relationships. Clear emotions lead to clear communication. Instead of reacting defensively, responses become thoughtful. Conflict becomes discussion rather than confrontation. Peace within reflects outward. Detachment is not withdrawal. It is clarity. Emotional discipline allows involvement without entanglement. One can care deeply without being consumed. This balance preserves energy and prevents burnout. Inner peace is not the absence of emotion, but the presence of control. Emotional discipline ensures that emotions serve understanding rather than dominate it. It transforms emotional experience into a source of strength rather than disturbance. Practicing emotional discipline requires humility, acknowledges that emotions can mislead. It accepts responsibility for reaction rather than assigning blame. This accountability empowers rather than weakens. Over time, emotional discipline becomes instinctive. Calm replaces chaos. Awareness replaces impulse. Peace becomes a state rather than a condition. The mind remains steady, not because life is quiet, but because it is prepared. Loyalty is often misunderstood as attachment, agreement, or constant presence. In reality, loyalty is a test of strength. It demands endurance, clarity, and the ability to remain aligned with values when circumstances become uncomfortable. Convenience, on the other hand, requires nothing, follows ease, advantage, and personal comfort. When loyalty is based on convenience, it disappears the moment effort is required. True loyalty begins where comfort ends. It is easy to stand beside someone when conditions are favorable, when association brings benefit, recognition, or security. It is far more difficult to remain when challenges arise, when choices involve sacrifice, or when staying comes with no immediate reward. Strength is revealed in these moments, not convenience. Strength in loyalty does not mean blind agreement. It means honesty even when honesty risks tension. It means choosing integrity over popularity. A loyal person does not say what is easiest, but what is necessary. This requires emotional and moral courage, not compliance. Convenience thrives on changeable conditions. When the environment shifts, convenience adapts by leaving. Loyalty adapts by enduring. This endurance is not stubbornness, but commitment to principle. It is rooted in something deeper than temporary advantage. Loyalty requires self-control. It often asks a person to restrain impulse, to resist self-interest, and to consider long-term consequences over immediate gain. Without inner strength, these choices feel too heavy. Convenience offers an escape from responsibility. Loyalty accepts it. Time reveals the difference between strength and convenience. Over extended periods, those driven by ease slowly withdraw. Their presence becomes conditional. Their effort decreases when the cost rises. Driven by strength remain consistent, even when circumstances are repetitive, difficult, or unglamorous. In relationships, loyalty is tested through conflict. Disagreement exposes intention. A person guided by convenience avoids discomfort and disengages. A person guided by strength stays present, listens, and works through difficulty. This process is demanding, but it builds trust. Loyalty also involves restraint in moments of opportunity. When personal gain conflicts with shared values, strength chooses restraint. Convenience chooses advantage. These moments may pass unnoticed, but they define character. There is also strength in standing alone. Loyalty sometimes isolates, defending someone who is absent, protecting fairness when it is unpopular, or refusing to participate in wrongdoing requires inner resilience. Convenience seeks alignment with the majority. Loyalty aligns with principle, allows loyalty to remain quiet. It does not seek recognition or validation. It acts without needing applause. Convenience, however, seeks reward. When appreciation fades, so does commitment. Loyalty requires patience. Results are not immediate. Trust builds slowly, accepts this pace. Convenience grows restless when progress is slow or invisible. It demands immediate return. Consistency is a form of strength. Showing up repeatedly, maintaining standards, and honoring commitments require discipline. Convenience is inconsistent by nature. It appears when circumstances are favorable and disappears when they are not. Loyalty is not a transaction. It is not exchange for benefit. When loyalty is treated as currency, it becomes conditional. Strength gives without calculating immediate return. Convenience calculates constantly. In professional settings, loyalty guided by strength expresses itself through responsibility. Work is completed with care even when oversight is minimal. Ethical standards are maintained even when shortcuts are tempting. Convenience looks for the fastest path, not the right one. Emotional strength is essential to loyalty. Criticism, misunderstanding, and lack of recognition can weaken resolve. Without strength, loyalty becomes resentment. With strength, loyalty remains steady without bitterness. There is also strength in knowing when loyalty ends. Loyalty to values may require withdrawal from situations that compromise integrity. This decision is not convenient, involves loss and discomfort, yet it preserves self-respect. Convenience avoids complexity. Loyalty accepts it. Human relationships are imperfect. Systems are flawed. Loyalty does not deny this. It works within reality rather than abandoning it at the first sign of difficulty. Loyalty grows through shared hardship. Challenges create depth, remains engaged during these periods. Convenience leaves before depth is formed. Internal alignment supports loyalty. When actions reflect beliefs, loyalty feels natural rather than forced. When beliefs are unclear, convenience fills the gap. Strength understands that loyalty is rare because it is demanding. It requires sacrifice without guarantee. It requires standing firm without certainty of outcome. Convenience offers certainty of comfort, not of meaning. Over time, loyalty shaped by strength creates stability. Trust becomes reliable, relationships deepen, environments become resilient. Loyalty shaped by convenience creates instability, unpredictability, and distance. Strength does not announce itself. Loyalty rooted in strength operates quietly, consistently, and without expectation. It does not depend on conditions, recognition, or ease. Remains because it chooses to remain. Silence is often misunderstood as absence, weakness, or withdrawal. In reality, silence is a form of presence. It creates space where observation becomes possible. Noise demands attention, fills gaps, and competes for dominance. Silence allows perception. Where noise seeks to be heard, silence seeks to understand. In noisy environments, meaning is easily lost, words overlap, intentions blur, and reactions multiply. Silence interrupts this chaos. It slows the pace and allows details to surface. Subtle shifts in tone, behavior, and energy become noticeable when the mind is not distracted by constant expression. Silence sharpens awareness. When one stops speaking, listening deepens. When opinions are withheld, information flows freely. People reveal more when they are not being challenged or interrupted. In silence, patterns emerge naturally. Repetition becomes visible. Contradictions expose themselves without confrontation. Noise often masks insecurity. Speaking constantly can be an attempt to control perception or assert relevance. Silence does not compete. It rests in confidence. This confidence does not seek validation. It trusts observation over persuasion. Emotions behave differently in silence. Without immediate expression, they settle. Anger loses its sharp edge. Excitement finds balance. Fear becomes clearer. Silence creates distance between impulse and action. This distance protects judgment. Silence also reveals intention. People are more honest when they believe they are not being evaluated. In the absence of commentary, behavior becomes less performative. Actions replace explanations. Truth requires no amplification. In conflict, silence prevents escalation. Noise fuels reaction. Each response intensifies the previous one. Silence breaks this cycle. It forces reflection. It removes fuel. What remains is the core issue, no longer hidden behind words. There is strength in restraint. Choosing not to speak requires discipline. It resists the urge to defend, explain, or impress. This restraint protects clarity. Many misunderstandings are prolonged by unnecessary explanation. Silence allows time to work. Time reveals inconsistencies that words attempt to cover. When someone is given space, their priorities become visible. Consistency or lack thereof emerges naturally. Silence accelerates this process by removing interference. Observation requires patience. Noise seeks immediate resolution. Silence allows situations to unfold fully. This unfolding provides context. Decisions made with full context carry less regret. Silence also protects energy. Constant engagement drains focus. Not every comment deserves response. Not every opinion requires acknowledgement. Silence conserves mental strength for moments that truly matter. In leadership, silence commands respect. A measured presence speaks louder than constant instruction. When words are rare, they carry weight. Noise diminishes value through excess. Silence encourages accountability. Without verbal distraction, actions are more visible. Excuses lose power when not entertained. Reality stands unfiltered. Internally, silence reveals thought patterns. When external noise is reduced, internal dialogue becomes audible. This awareness exposes habits, fears, and assumptions that often operate unnoticed. Self-observation begins in silence. Creativity also emerges from silence. Ideas need space to form. Noise interrupts this process. Silence allows connections to surface naturally. Silence does not mean avoidance. It means intentional pause. It creates the opportunity to choose response rather than react. This choice defines maturity. In relationships, silence can prevent harm. Words spoken in heightened emotion often cause damage that cannot be undone. Silence allows emotion to pass without destruction. Noise seeks dominance. Silence seeks truth. Noise attempts to control outcome. Silence allows outcome to reveal itself. There is clarity in silence. Without constant input, the mind organizes information naturally. Priorities become clear. Distractions lose power. Silence teaches humility. It acknowledges that not everything requires opinion. It accepts that understanding comes before expression. In a world saturated with noise, silence becomes rare and powerful. Those who practice it see what others miss. They notice shifts before they become obvious. They understand dynamics before they are spoken. Silence builds intuition. Repeated observation strengthens insight. Patterns recognized in silence become guides for decision-making. Choosing silence is not passive. It is active awareness. It listens without judgment and watches without interference. Silence cannot be manipulated. It cannot be forced into false meaning. It simply exists, allowing truth to surface in its own time. Noise often demands reaction. Silence demands attention. Attention reveals what noise hides. In silence, one becomes less visible but more perceptive, less reactive but more responsive, less distracted but more aligned. Silence does not rush, it waits. In that waiting, it sees what words cannot show, what explanations cannot clarify, what noise continuously obscures. Wisdom is not measured by how many people surround you, but by the quality of those who walk beside you. Companionship shapes direction. Influence flows quietly through proximity. The people allowed into one's life affect thoughts, habits, decisions, and standards, often without being noticed. Choosing who walks with you is therefore not a social preference, but a strategic and ethical decision. Not everyone who appears supportive contributes to growth. Some offer comfort without honesty. Others provide encouragement without accountability. Wisdom recognizes that pleasant presence is not the same as positive influence. A calm surface can hide misalignment beneath. Discernment looks beyond behavior and listens for values. Walking with someone implies shared movement. It suggests direction, pace, and intention. When paths are unclear, progress becomes uneven. Those who walk with you should understand where you are going, or at least respect the journey. When values clash, friction increases. Over time, this friction drains energy and focus. Wisdom observes patterns rather than isolated moments. One kind act does not define character. One mistake does not define intention. Consistency reveals alignment. Those who repeatedly demonstrate respect, honesty, and responsibility earn proximity. Those who repeatedly create instability, doubt, or distraction signal distance. Choosing companions requires self-awareness. Without clarity about personal values, choices become reactive. Approval replaces alignment. Familiarity replaces integrity. Wisdom begins internally. Understanding one's principles creates a filter. Through that filter, decisions become clear. There is courage involved in choosing carefully. Saying no to certain relationships risks misunderstanding and loneliness. Yet wisdom values long-term peace over short-term comfort. Walking alone for a period is often healthier than walking with those who pull in opposing directions. Relationships belong to specific seasons. Wisdom recognizes when a season ends. Holding on out of nostalgia or fear prevents growth. Letting go does not erase appreciation. It honors reality. The influence of proximity is subtle. Habits are absorbed. Language is mirrored. Shift quietly. Over time, these small adjustments accumulate. Wisdom notices these shifts early. It asks whether proximity is elevating or diminishing character. True companions do not demand constant attention. They respect boundaries. They understand silence. They do not compete for validation. Their presence feels stable rather than draining. Wisdom feels this difference before it can be explained. Trust is built through behavior under pressure. When challenges arise, some withdraw, some deflect, some stand firm. Wisdom remembers these moments. They reveal who walks with you in ease and who remains in difficulty. Choosing who walks with you also includes choosing who does not. This decision is often more important. Limiting access protects focus, prevents unnecessary conflict. Wisdom does not invite chaos and then complain about peace. Shared values matter more than shared interests. Interests change. Values guide decisions. When values align, disagreement remains respectful. When values differ, agreement becomes fragile. Wisdom understands that not everyone is meant to walk the entire journey. Some are guides for a moment. Some offer lessons through contrast. Recognizing this prevents unrealistic expectations. Appreciation replaces resentment. Silence often reveals who belongs. In quiet moments, those who remain present without demand demonstrate alignment. Those who disappear when attention fades reveal intention. Choosing wisely also requires patience. Rushing connection leads to attachment before understanding. Wisdom allows time to observe. Resists the urge to fill space quickly. Space reveals truth. Emotional maturity supports wise choice. Reactivity attracts instability. Calm attracts clarity. When emotions are regulated, discernment improves. Decisions are made with reason rather than impulse. Wisdom does not seek perfection in others. It seeks integrity. Mistakes are inevitable. Character is consistent. Those who take responsibility, reflect, and adjust demonstrate readiness to walk alongside. Walking with someone implies mutual influence. Wisdom considers what is offered in return. Relationships should not be one-sided. Energy should flow in balance. When imbalance persists, distance restores stability. There is also wisdom in choosing mentors. Those who have walked further offer perspective. Presence shortens learning curves and prevents repeated mistakes. Choosing guidance is a form of foresight. Choosing companions shapes identity. Over time, one becomes a reflection of those nearby. Wisdom chooses reflection intentionally. External success means little if inner alignment is lost. Walking with the wrong people accelerates this loss. Walking with the right ones protects it. Wisdom does not announce its choices. It simply lives with them. It understands that peace is not found in numbers, but in alignment, not in attention, but in understanding, not in being surrounded, but in being supported, challenged, and respected by those allowed to walk beside you.